Sara here. If you're new to our channel, my husband Matt and I practice the homesteading lifestyle, and we also run a laser engraving business from our home. Today I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite summer snacks to make, which is also a great use for one of those really prevalent vegetables you have in the garden. So this week we have been pulling our first cucumbers from the garden. And I have a few to use up, but not quite enough to make pickles. So I love to make this snack. Everyone in my family enjoys eating it. The cucumbers that I am using are the pickling Persian. This was our first year planting them. They're also known, I believe, as the improved Bourbon. They're a French cucumber, and they are actually the same cucumber variety that's used for gherkins. So I knew they were gonna be really good, but we've just been blown away with how good they are. They don't quite have that bite that most cucumbers do, and even though this one's pretty thick, we had a thick one like this for lunch and the seeds were just fine, so I was kind of surprised. The first step is to peel my cucumbers, and this is totally optional. I just know everyone in my family prefers this dish with the cucumbers peeled. One of the cucumbers, a small one, was one of the bushy cucumber variety we had, but the rest are that pickling Persian. So they're cut up. I always like to make this dish in the evening and let it sit overnight and then finish it up the next day. I'm just gonna chop up my cucumbers. No real rhyme or reason to how thin, I guess, or how thick. They're gonna have more crunch if they're thicker, but they're gonna have more flavor if they're thinner. So somewhere in between. The next ingredient is some onion. I use whatever kind of onion I have, and I happen to have about 1/4 of a large white onion that I'm gonna use, and I just cut this into large chunks. My family loves onion, If your family doesn't, you could cut this smaller as well, or just do a smaller amount. Alright, once I've got my cucumber and my onions, I like to go ahead and add some salt to it. I am just using some pink Himalayan salt, but you can use any salt that you like. And I want to mix it up really well. I'm going to let it sit overnight in this salt in the fridge, and it will bring out a lot of the water that's in the cucumbers, and it'll make kind of its own juice. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the fridge, and I will catch back up with you tomorrow morning. Hi all, so it's the next morning and we have our cucumbers and onions that have been sitting in that salt mixture for a while. They created some liquid on the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and I am actually going to dump most of the liquid out. I like to leave a little bit just because then I don't have to add extra salt, and I think it makes its own little kind of brine, which I personally like. You could dump all of it if you like. You can even rinse off the cucumbers if you would like to. So my cucumbers and my onions, I dumped off a little bit of that extra liquid, and now I am going to kind of mix up what makes them creamy cucumbers. I like to add a little bit of pepper for flavor. You could also add garlic if you'd like. This is one of the only things I leave garlic out of, just because I've had it made so many times without it. It doesn't seem to need it to me. I love the onion flavor. I add a little bit of white vinegar. You'll know if you added too much, and you'll have to compensate with other ingredients. I add a splash of milk and some mayo. And then I go ahead and give it a stir. This is a dish I have been eating since I was a little girl, and my husband's family has a version of it as well. So alright, it's all mixed up. You gotta make sure to give it a try. I might just sit here and enjoy it. I think just about every member of my family, my husband's family, has some version of this recipe, and they're all similar and they're all different. And this is just how I make mine. Some of the recipes have sugar in them, and I decided to omit that when I realized that I enjoy it without it, and I don't really need that extra flavor. For me, this is kind of that salty snack to get that salty fix, and it just tastes good and fresh, and it's just so awesome. The longer you let it sit, it will kind of marinate, so by this afternoon, this evening, when I'm ready to share with the rest of the family, it'll be good and tasty, even tastier than it is now. So I hope you enjoyed making this special garden snack with me, creamy cucumbers. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe, clicking that subscribe button down below. Matt and I put out videos often on homesteading, a little bit of laser engraving, as well as just kind of fun stuff to do with our garden goods. Glad you got to see me again. Bye.